The money that you have left over every month and are able to save and invest, is it earning interest for you or is it losing interest for you? A lot of people don't seem to know that answer. They think, well, if they put it in a savings account, it's got to be earning me some interest. Well, not necessarily. The average interest rate right now in the savings account is 0.06%. So let's say you put let's just use an easy number, $10,000. If you put $10,000 in that savings account and don't touch it, it's going to take 120 years for that money to double. For that $10,000 to double into 20,000, it will take 120 years. Well, if you got a money market account, some people like to use a money market account because if they have to take the money out, they could take it out easier without being penalized if they do with a savings account. And it's earning right now, I think the average is 0.09%. So if you put it in the money market account and you didn't touch it, it would take 80 years for that same $10,000 to double into $20,000. Lord have mercy. I can't earn no interest that way, can I? Nope, not with inflation. As of April of this year, the 12 months previous, inflation went up 8.5%. So if you don't have an investment that's gaining at least 8.5% interest, your money's losing. You're losing your money, the cost of inflation. And I thought everybody knew what inflation meant, but a lot of people don't. And I went to the doctor's office a while back to get my INR checked, and I was waiting in the office, and there was a lady sitting there, and we struck up a conversation, and got to talking about how the price of bread is going up, how the price of meat's going up, chicken, everything's going up, the price of gas. And then I told her, I said, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you could go to the movies and it cost $3, $5 to go see a picture show. Now it costs $10, if not more, to go to a picture show. I don't know how much it costs now, but I know it costs a whole lot more. And I made the comment to her, I said, a dollar's not worth as much now as it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And she didn't quite understand what I was talking about. And I said, well, think about it. You could buy more with your dollar 20 years ago than you could 10 years ago. And then you could buy a whole lot more of that dollar 20 years ago than you can now. Because that dollar, even though you got the same dollar bill, it's not worth as much as far as buying power goes. So there's a lot of people that don't really understand inflation, and they don't understand how fast their money will double or anything about interest, period. Well, there's something called the Rule of 72. And look here, I don't want you to believe me and trust me without going to do some research on your own. There's a simple little rule called the Rule of 72. And what you do is you take 72, and let's say your interest rate, you're only earning 1% interest. Well, you divide it into 72, and it's going to take 72 years for that money. Let's use that $10,000 example. It's going to take 72 years for that $10,000 example to double into 20,000. All right, let's say 4%. Now I got these written down because I can't remember that good. Let's say you're getting 4% interest on your money, and you stick that same $10,000, and you getting 4% interest. It's going to take 18 years for that $10,000 to double. And if you got 6% interest, you're gaining 6% interest, it's going to take 12 years. You divide that 6 into 72, and it'll tell you how many years it's going to take for your money to double. 9%, you're getting 9%, it's going to take 8 years. So you see, the higher the interest that you're earning, the faster your money's going to double. Well, 1% can make a big difference. So I said 4%, you only earn, it's going to take you, 4% interest is going to take you 18 years for your money to double. Well, if you was only getting 3%, 1% difference, it would take 24 years. That's a 6-year difference. 6 years is a long time. And that 1% can make a big difference. Well, there is other ways to make a higher interest rate. Well, take silver and gold for instance. Let's see. Back in 2002, silver was selling for $4.59 an ounce, a troy ounce. Now it's selling for $22.81 in 20 years difference. So that's a 20-year difference. It went from $4.59 an ounce to $22.81 an ounce. That's what, 4%? I mean, a 400% increase. I mean, you say if you had that same $10,000 and you bought $10,000 worth of gold at $4.59 an ounce. That same ounce now is worth $22.81. So you get a better return on your money. So there are a lot of ways that you can earn money without having to go to a bank. Yes, it is, because the bank's not going to pay you nothing. They're not even keeping up with inflation. No, they're not. You know, you can make 20% interest guaranteed by the state of Georgia. Yeah, you heard me right. If you went to a tax lien sale and you bought a tax lien property, say you paid $10,000. We'll use that 10,000 number. That's a good even number. So you bought a tax lien property for $10,000. Well, the person who lost their property because they didn't pay their back taxes, they've got 12 months to be able to come back and repurchase that land back. But in the state of Georgia, and all states charge interest, but in the state of Georgia, if that person comes back and wants to regain their property, they've got to pay that $10,000 that person paid to purchase that tax lien, plus 20% interest. So worst case scenario, the guy that bought that tax lien property, he's going to make 20% interest in a year on his investment, that $10,000 investment. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, he's going to buy it, turn around and flip it, and make some money off of it. Or he might want to hold it and remodel it and rent it out, or renting. I don't care much about renting because, every time a pipe messes up or a little something goes wrong, they're going to call you in the middle of the night, and you're responsible for it. You got to go out and fix it. But there's a thing called lease with an option to buy, and that's the best way to do. So you could take that property you purchased, wait that 12 months to give that owner time to come back, and if you don't come back, then you've got that property. Fix it up, lease it with an option to buy. Now, lease with an option to buy, you could do like a 20-year lease, or 10-year lease, or 30-year lease, or 7-year lease, whatever is you and the person who leases that home works it out. Now, they lease it, let's say for 20 years, and it's got a buyout on the end of it. Lease with an option to buy. All right, so that paperwork's going to be written up. I'm leasing this house to you for 20 years, but after 20 years, you could purchase this house for $1. So it's got a 20-year lease with $1 buyout on the end of it. All right. Well, why is that better than renting it? Okay. Well, if he has problems with the plumbing, problems with the electrical, the roof, or whatever, he's responsible for it because he's taking ownership of it. In his mind, he's taking ownership of it. In 20 years, that's going to be my piece of property. Once I pay that $1 buyout, then I'll be able to own that piece of property. So you don't have to worry about all these upkeeps on the property and stuff. So that's a better way to do it. Or you can owner finance. Owner finance means, you've got the house and you sell it to old Joe Blow over here for, say, $60,000, and you owner finance it for 20 years or 30 years or 15 years, or whatever y'all agree on, for 10%, 12% interest. Of course, you want to look at their credit and see what kind of credit they got. If they ain't got good credit, you're going to charge them a higher interest rate. because you standing at risk of losing that property, or them not continue to pay on it because they hadn't got a good history of paying in the past on anything else. But here's the deal about it. If they owner finance that property with you, they'll hold it for a month or two. If they want to file bankruptcy, they can file bankruptcy on you and go to bankruptcy court, and then they might just get away with paying you $20 a month until it's paid off. So now you're stuck with that piece of property and you're only getting $20 a month or $100 a month or whatever because they filed bankruptcy on you. Owner financing can be good, but I like lease with an option to buy a whole lot better. But yes, I didn't want to get into all that, but that's part of it. But the rule of 72 is how you find out how fast your money is going to double when you invest it. Yep, the rule of 72. Take 72, divide what your interest is that you're earning, and they'll tell you how many years it's going to be. Now, I was telling you a minute ago about them banks, how banks, they're not going to pay you no interest at all. But let me tell you what they will do. They will charge you high interest and compound interest, not simple interest, but compound interest if you buy a home from them. That's right. So let me give you an example of compound interest and simple interest. All right. Let's say I come up to you and say, look here, I got $1 million. I'll give you either $1 million right now, no strings attached. You take that $1 million, you go do what you want with it, or I'll do this. There's 30 days in this month, so I'll start today. Today's the first of the month. I'll give you a penny, and I'll double that penny every day for 30 days. And whatever that balance comes out to, I'll give you that. So I'll start with a penny a day, penny. The second day be 2 cents. Next day be 4 cents, 8 cents, 16 cents, 32 cents. Or I can just go ahead and give you $1 million. Now, which one would be the best bet? Would you go with the $1 million because it sounds big, that number sounds real big? Or would you let that guy give you a penny and double that every day? Well, let's see what it would come out if you started with a penny on the first of the month and what the balance would be on the 30th day of the month. So if I give you a penny today and I double it, and the next day you get 2 cents, next day you get 4 cents, next day you get 18 cents, 16 cents, 32 cents, a week and you ain't got but 64 cents. Well, that don't sound too good, does it? All right, well, let's see. All right, we've gone a whole 15 days, a half of a month, and that penny is doubled and now it's $163.84. So there's only $15 days left in the year. So it don't sound like it'd be too good, does it? Well, that's the power of compound interest. That amount doubles every day. So that $163.84 doubles the next day into $324.68. Well, that still don't sound like much. Well, let's go to the 24th day. The 24th day, that penny has been changed into $83,886.08. So we're getting a little bit better. 25 day number 25, that 83,000 is changed into is doubled into $167,772.16. All right. The 27th day, that penny has changed into, is continued to double and compounded on the 27th day to $671,088, or $88.64. All right, now here's where we see that you're coming out better. On day 28, with the compound interest of that penny from the first day, that penny is compounded every day to day 28. It's $1,342,177.28. So you've made more in 28 days, but you still got 2 days left. Well, what does it come out to be after 30 days of doubling that penny every day to compound interest? Well, on day 30, you would get $5,368,704.12. That is the power of compound interest. But the bank's not going to pay you no compound interest. and you get a savings account or checking account or money market account, they're going to pay you simple interest. So the rule of 72 is good to know whenever you are investing your money. And it's good to know the difference between simple interest and compound interest. It really is. Well, look here, I got a whole bunch of more little things like this I'm going to share with y'all. Y'all let me know in the comments if this was helpful, and if you'd like to hear about some more stuff about saving money, investing money, and earning good interest on your money. All right. Pop. Y'all have a good one now. I'll catch y'all next time.